They're pissed. They can't intimidate you. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder for my chosen ones in the back. Listen, family, they're pissed. They can't intimidate you. I need somebody to drop in the comments and say, I ain't scared of nothing. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments, family, and say, I ain't scared of nothing. Now, outside of the Most High, y'all, we should not be scared of anything. Plane rides, the big bad wolf, Goliath, diseases, sicknesses, anything, y'all. We should not be afraid of anything, right? There's no fear in the true chosen one's heart because we know that we are always protected. We know that we have a divine hand in our lives, and we understand that guidance serves us, especially spiritual guidance, all right? And so with that being said, y'all, it's not going to be nothing that a human being can do to make you, afraid or to put fear in your heart. You follow what I'm saying? When you are a true chosen one, no matter how much a person have money or how much money a person have, no matter how smart they are, how big their house is, what type of car they have, no amount of materialistic possessions can outweigh the possession or the spiritual possession that you have on the inside of yourself. And when I say spiritual possession, I'm talking about the favor. I'm talking about the wisdom, the guidance. I'm talking about the divine hand that's in your life. Like nothing that they have can outweigh that. Nothing that they have or nothing that they do can outdo that. Like when I say they can't intimidate you, bring the best of the best up, and it's never going to work. Bring the smartest up, it's never going to work. You don't care what she look like. You don't care what he has. You don't care who she's connected to. You don't care who his family is. You don't care about none of that. They cannot intimidate you. I need somebody to drop in the comments and say, you can't intimidate me. And they will attempt to. They're going to try to use their intelligence. They're going to try to use their connections. They may try to use their money. They may try to use their accomplishments. All right. I'm going to say that once again, y'all. They may try to use their accomplishments. All right. And it does not matter if you don't have it. You will get it plus more. But understand something. And this is the most important thing that I will say in this video. When you understand your purpose, your calling, and your divine path, can't nobody scare you. And you can take that to the bank, all right? But fam, we're going to go ahead and get directly into this video. But first thing is first, y'all make sure y'all leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Y'all be sure to ring my bell so you can be notified after every single video I post. What y'all got going on, how y'all doing, how y'all feeling. What y'all ate today, by the way, right? Y'all probably seen me on my Reno Speech Riches channel. But for the record and for the foodies on this channel, I got to say it, y'all. For me, what I ate was some... What did I eat, y'all? I almost forgot, right? I'm going to eat some tacos, okay? Chicken tacos, that is. But I had some breakfast earlier, right? So I had some cheese, eggs. I put about like a half a slice cheese so I can keep down the cholesterol, the fat, the sodium, all that. But I had some 2% reduced cheese inside my eggs, scrambled, that is, turkey sausage, and some grits with a little bit with a little stick of butter in there. Not a whole stick, but like just a little bit, some salt and some pepper. That was my breakfast. And then I had, I'm going to have some chicken tacos, hard shell and soft shell. Pause, all right? But anyway, that's what my dinner is looking like, y'all. Some of y'all may already know, but for me, I'm good, y'all. I'm chilling. And it's been about, 2 days. However, y'all, I've been putting together this trip that I'm planning to go to on, in June sometime, going towards Orlando. And, yeah, man, I really need that headspace, that break, that mental break, that emotional break. So that's what I've been planning. I took some time off, but we back like Jack, y'all. I got a bunch of downloads, and we going to go ahead and get directly into it. Y'all drop in the comments. Let me know what y'all ate, how y'all feeling, what y'all got going on. But let's go ahead and get directly into this video, all right? They're pissed. They can't intimidate you. Number one, you seen it all right? You done seen it all. Y'all remember on the movie Baby Boy, right? When you got Jody pretty much trying to intimidate or scare Melvin. And Melvin like, bro, you don't even know, right? Now, here's the thing. Was Melvin wrong for a lot of the things that he was doing? Yeah, he was wrong. But Jody was also wrong in aspects as well. It was like a give and take situation. And Jody's mama was wrong too for certain things, right? But let's just stick to the point, right? When it comes to Jody, he was pretty much trying to protect his domain that was no longer his domain. All right. Even in the animal kingdom, if you have a lion who has a lioness, and if she have kids or cubs that are not his, what does he naturally try to do? Kill him. That's what he tries to do because that's not his offspring. And it's very similar in the actual world with human beings, right? However, y'all, with Jody, he was pretty much trying to protect his domain or a domain that was no longer his. And, Melvin kind of sensed that. Melvin seen that you're being overly protective. You're being, a kid. You're being baby boy. All right. I'm taking over in this crib. Okay. So you're going to see me cooking eggs butt naked. You're going to see me doing what I want to do. You're going to see me walking in what time I want to walk in. I'm going to be here with your mom, and it ain't nothing that you can do. We going on dates. It is what it is, right? And so Jody would try to intimidate him, and it did not work, okay? And ultimately, y'all know one of the biggest scenes inside that movie was when Jody had pushed him, and then Melvin came back with that famous two-piece, bop, bop. And then he bust his lip. I think he dropped on the table, and his mom was like, "You got to get out. You got to go. You going to choose him over me, your own flesh and blood," right? And I know everybody felt that scene. But the reality is you put your hands on him first, especially as a grown man. And so with that being said, y'all, he tried to intimidate Melvin, but it did not work. Why? Because Melvin had already seen it all. He wasn't just some spring chicken. He wasn't just some guy. He had already been inside the streets. He had already did hard time. He had already been out here. You, little Jody, yeah, none of that works. You follow what I'm saying? And so getting right back to the point, you seen it all right? You seen it all, and that's why they cannot intimidate you. Point blank, period. Number two, and by the way, drop in the comments and say, "I seen too much." Number two, you start with the end in mind, okay? You start with the end in mind. This is actually a characteristic of God. I'm going to say that once again, y'all. This is a characteristic that God gives us, okay? Here's the thing, y'all. When the Most High creates something, he don't think about how it is in the process and how it is in the beginning and how things are right now. He already see where it's going to be at, when it gets to the finished process, the finished product, all right? It just be us human beings who be like, "Well, what about this? What about that?" All this anxiety and worrying. He says, "Look, I already know what it's going to be like in the end. I know the finishing process. I know the finishing touches. I know how it's going to look." Now, meanwhile, we're not, people who can predict or even should predict, because speaking through mediums are not, something that's looked at or looked up upon within the Bible, especially for those who are spiritual. But what I will say is that it's nothing wrong with starting with the end in mind. What does that mean? Let's just say you are in a relationship and you're really feeling this person. You like this person. Matter of fact, let's take it there. You love this person, okay? And the fact that you love this person, at times you may get afraid, okay? But you put in your mind, in the back of your mind, that this can end. That's what it means when you start with the end in mind. So when you see yourself leaving a person, or when you see a person leaving you, when you see a person, passing away, when you see a person not being a part of your life, when you already have experienced this action or transaction before it actually happened, it protects you for when it actually do. It protects you for when it actually do. Rena, what are you saying right now? When you start with the end in mind, can't nobody scare you with what may happen, with what may end, or with what may be destroyed or stopped or tarnished. You already seen it. The reason why a lot of people are intimidated or they are afraid is because they started, but they can't see it ending. Yeah, no, y'all. I seen it all. Yeah. When it comes to the way I make my money, when it comes to the people who I love, when it comes to the people who support me, when it comes to my place, when it comes to a car, when it comes to anything in life, I've already seen it end once I started it. Therefore, there's nothing that's going to be able to have you on edge or have you intimidated or have you, afraid. Same thing with the job. You start a job that you really, really love or really, really like, right? If you have in your mind that somebody can furlough me, somebody can lay me off, somebody can fire me, I'm not getting attached to nothing I can't walk away from. That's starting with the end in mind. Number 3, you know who you are, okay? You know who you are. You know what your purpose is. You know what your calling is. You know who you are. You understand that. Let's take a woman who's extremely confident, right? And I'm talking about she maybe don't have the waistline of a Beyonce. She don't have the shape of a Halle Berry or the face of a Halle Berry. She don't have all these amazing characteristics and features. But one thing she does have is confidence. She gonna run circles around every other woman who probably have more, who look better, who have a better shape. The list goes on. A more high quality man, whatever the case is. But the fact that she's comfortable in who she is, she'll be able to run circles around every single woman with more, who have more, look better, whatever the case is. That's because she know who she is. When you know who you are, you can expect God to bless you. You can expect whatever it is that God has for you. You can expect whatever it is that's on your path. You know your lane. Somebody drop in the comments and say, I know my lane. You know your lane. And when you know your lane, you have expectations on what your lane provides and what your lane brings. Does that make sense, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. Like, you're not looking at somebody else's plate, somebody else's table, somebody else's blessing, somebody else's man or woman. You know what your path is going to bring for you. Number 4, y'all, you're not afraid of the results. You're not afraid of the results. You follow what I'm saying? This is very similar to you start with the end in mind, right? But instead of that, y'all, when you're not afraid of the results, you can care less about what happens or what don't happens. Like a person who plays the lottery or, the lotto, they call it, they don't care if it hit or if it don't hit. Now, you got some people out here who put their whole life savings, on the lottery ticket. You got some people who play the lottery faithfully, hoping to hit that 300 billion, that 500 quadrillion, right? They hope they hit it. But guess what, y'all? It's not guaranteed. In fact, I think they said it's 1 in 1,000th, or I think they said 1 in 100,000, something like that, y'all. It's very, very difficult to hit the lotto. But here's the thing. You're not looking or you're not afraid of the results that you may get or may not get from that lottery ticket, all right? Most people, especially people like myself, all right? If I go out here and play the lotto, I don't care if I hit or if I don't hit. Look, if I do hit, great. Lottery ticket, y'all. Lottery ticket. But if I don't hit, I'm not about to go out here and commit suicide or commit a homicide. I don't care about the results. I'm not afraid of the results. You get what I'm saying? I can look at my ticket and be like, oh, man, I was close. So what? What's for dinner? Some people, they are afraid to look at it. What it says. Oh, man. No. When you're not afraid of the results, people will be pissed because they cannot intimidate you. Number 5, y'all, self-value, self-value, self-value. All right? Again, it comes to knowing your worth. If you have a Mercedes Benz and somebody pull up in a big body Bentley or a Wraith, all right, you have to have confidence that, look, you may got the Bentley, you may have a Wraith, but guess what? I got a Mercedes. And at the end of the day, a Mercedes is a Mercedes. There's a lot of people who will look at that situation and be like, man, they got the Bentley. What am I going to do next? It's champagne, it's rose. Oh, man, look at the rims. Oh, Forgiatos. Oh, man. Look at the tires, right? Whole time you got the Benz. You got the C300, you got the E class, you got the S class, you got two of big body Benz. What's the problem? The problem is comparison is the thief of all joy or happiness. So guess what? They lose value in whatever it is that they have, or even in themselves, when they see somebody else with a perception of a higher value. I'm gonna say that once again, y'all. What happens when a person loses value in themselves or whatever it is that they have is because somebody else pulled up or walked up or whatever you want to say with something that has the perception of being worth more or more valuable. And that's why certain people can be intimidated, because they stop looking at the great thing that they've done, the great things that they've accomplished, the great things that they have. They stop looking at that and they start looking at what this person have. All right. Does that make sense, y'all? Drop in the comments and let me know. But fam, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here. But we got to do our recap. Number one, you seen it all. Number two, you start with the end in mind. Number three, you know who you are. Number four, you're not afraid of the results. And number five, y'all, self-value, self-value, self-value. With that being said, fam, y'all be sure to get you a Yes Sir t-shirt, Yes Sir hoodie, book a one-on-one session with your boy. Check out any one of my books. I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Keep a rich mentality. Peace.